Hey guys, this is Mrs. Cutting, and this is part 2 of the Unit 3 Lesson 7 video. So we are now on the bottom of page 287. We're skipping this part up at the top, and we're going down to 7.3, Making Bracelets. And it says, complete the table, then explain the strategy you used to do so. So I'm going to have you pause me while you fill in number of bracelets and time and hours, the information that's missing from the table. All right, so if we know that this person makes 6 bracelets per hour and they work for 2 hours, 2 hours times 6 bracelets per hour is 12 bracelets. They work for 5 hours, 5 hours times 6 bracelets per hour is 30 bracelets. They work for 7 hours, 7 hours times 6 bracelets per hour is 42 bracelets. But now we're a little bit backwards because I can't do 6 hours times 66 bracelets equals how many, or 6 bracelets per hour times 66 bracelets equals the time in hours. That's just not going to work. So I need to think of what times 6 would give me 66, or I can do 66 bracelets divided by 6 bracelets per hour gives me 11 hours. And then to find 100 bracelets, I can either think what times 6 is going to give me 100, but this one doesn't even come out so nice and pretty. Or I can do 100 bracelets divided by 6 bracelets per hour, and it gives us a crazy one of those repeating decimals, 16.6 repeated. We're just going to call that 16.67. And then I'm going to add in one more row. 1 bracelet, or 1 hour, at 6 bracelets per hour would be 6 bracelets. So when we know the time and we know our unit rate, we can do the time times our unit rate to get the number of bracelets. When we know the number of bracelets and we know our unit rate, we can do number of bracelets divided by the unit rate to get our time in hours. Let me just check my notes to see if there was anything else I was supposed to tell you right now. Just a second. Nope, I think I'm good. Okay, so turn the page. So here is the burritos table again. So I'm going to have you pause me. I know we just did this a minute ago, but I'm going to have you pause me and fill out this table again. So if we know that it's $7 per burrito and we paid $14, we can do $14 divided by $7 per burrito, which is 2 burritos. Here we can do $28 divided by $7 per burrito would be 4 burritos. Here we know that we bought 5 burritos and we paid $7 per burrito. So 5 burritos times $7 per burrito is $35. And we know that we bought 10 burritos and it was $7 per burrito. So 10 times 7, which is $70. So yes, we have the same answers that we have from our previous activity, but we're just kind of thinking about it a little bit differently. Last time we went through and we said 14 divided by 2, 28 divided by 4. This time we know the unit price every time, so we're using that to help us find the number of burritos or the cost in dollars. Okay. So now that brings us to 7.4, how much applesauce, which we started on Friday. Your answers might be slightly different than mine, depending on how you did it. My answer key from the book actually says that this one is just 6, and this one they had 13 1/3. So if your answers aren't exactly the same as mine, that's okay. But we knew how many pounds of apples or we had the pounds of apples and the cups of applesauce, and we were trying to find either one or the other, but we knew that it took 4 pounds to make 6 cups of applesauce. We are going to add a unit rate column onto this table. So we are going to add cups per pound. And I can't draw straight lines, obviously. Wow, that's beautiful. Anyways, so if I want to find how many cups per pound, I am going to do cups divided by pounds. So I'm finding how many cups for 1 pound, which I have that information down here, but we're going to write it out anyways. So 6 cups divided by 4 pounds gives us 1.5. And we could go through and write out 10.5 divided by 7, 15 divided by 10, 9 divided by 6, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to go through and fill out 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Pretend that that matches up with my table. It's beautiful. So for all of these, they have the same unit rate of 1.5 cups per pound. So instead of doing this how we did it on Friday, where we first started by finding 1, what we could do is we could find the unit rate and then use that to help us find everything else. So for this row, we would do 7 times 1.5 to get that 10.5. Here we would do 10 times 1.5 to get that 15. Here, if we wanted to find number of pounds, we would do 9 divided by 1.5. Here, to find the number of pounds, we would do 20 divided by 1.5. And some of you may have already done it this way on Friday. On Friday, I had you find both unit rates, because then if we know 1 over here, we can use that to get anything on this side. If we know 1 over here, we can use that to get us anything on this side. But also, if we know cups per pound, we can use that to find anything on there as well. Okay, last thing we're going to look at is the summary. So here's where you're going to need a highlighter, and here's where hopefully they will explain it in a way that makes it all just come together nice and neatly. Fingers crossed. Okay. The table shows different amounts of apples selling at the same rate, which means all of the ratios in the table are equivalent. We're going to highlight that. So here's a ratio table, an equivalent ratio table. So all of the ratios are equivalent. And then in each case, we can find the unit price in dollars per pound by dividing the price by the number of pounds. So we can find unit rates by dividing. So if we want to find a unit rate of dollars per pound, when we divide, we want to do dollars divided by pounds. The unit price is always the same, whether we buy 10 pounds of apples for $4 or 20 pounds of apples for $8. The apples cost $2.50 per pound. So all of these unit rates are the same. If I found 100 pounds of apples, the unit price would still be the same. If I bought 1,000,000, it would still be that same unit price. And we can still always find that by doing dollars divided by pounds to find dollars per pound. We could also find the other unit rate. We could also find the number of pounds per dollar. by this time dividing it the opposite way. So to find pounds per dollar, we're going to do pounds divided by dollars. So the number of pounds we can buy for $1 is the same as well. Whether we buy 10 pounds for $4 or 20 pounds for $8, we're getting 4/10 of a pound per dollar every single time. So when we want to find pounds per dollar, we're doing pounds divided by dollars. This is going to help us a little bit because this is going to make it so that we don't necessarily always have to make a table. I always like to make a table. If I want to find 1 pound, I'm always going to go, okay, I'm going to put my 1 down here. I'm going to go divided by 4, divided by 4. So then that's 10 divided by 4, which is not the unit rate they're talking about here, which is 2.5. This actually belongs up here. Don't write this down. Sorry. But if I want to find 1 pound and I want to make sure I'm not dividing it backwards, I like to make a table. But if I know that I want to find 1 pound, and so I want to find dollars per pound, I can just think of, oh, I just want to do dollars divided by pounds. Now, if I want to find $1, then I'm going to do pounds divided by dollars. Let's scribble this off because that actually belonged in the other table. Whoops. But at 11 minutes, I'm not redoing this video because I made a silly mistake. But anyways, that's the end of this video. You made it through! Hooray!